This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. I am back in the host chair today, but only because Jeff is remote. How's it going, Big Jeff?
Yeah. Loving it. I'm loving it.
I look like I'm bowling in the 70s, like Al said. Good to see everyone today. All right, we begin with a bunch of high-profile events being impacted by COVID and the highly contagious Omicron variant. Now, the Grammys are now being postponed indefinitely. Last year, stars like Beyonce showed up to accept their awards outdoors, but this year, many artists were just really reluctant to do so, even to attend the event, which was planned to take place inside. The Sundance Film Festival canceled an all-person event, but it will go ahead, but everything is going to be online. And Super Bowl organizers are looking at a contingency plan to move the game from SoFi Stadium in LA to AT&T Stadium in Texas if COVID restrictions become too tight in California.
Are they going to move people's flights?
Yeah, right. That's a good call. Now, if the halftime show is scrapped because of COVID, TMZ is reporting that Dr. Dre could be on the hook for millions because he's actually poured his own money into the show, and his insurance would not cover any losses due to coronavirus. Jeff, what do you think about all these events being affected and Dr. Dre and the Super Bowl?
I think Dr. Dre's going to be all right even if he drops a couple mil.
It's true.
I'm just saying. His
fair.
beats are doing just fine. But I don't know what the answer is, Tori. We're not doctors. We don't have Dr. Coley to speak for us and what she thinks about canceling all these events. I know I'm being a little bit more cautious just in my life alone. But listen, before I say this, I want to say do not take my advice. Do not listen to what I'm about to say. My own personal opinion is we're all getting this variant. I don't think there's stopping it. I don't think our vaccines stop it. Even though, again, I'm triple boosted, I just feel in my heart, again, I'm not a doctor, that we are all going to get this variant eventually. That's just me.
Well, Dr. Coley even said in South Africa that's eventually what happened, and it became herd immunity, and that sort of actually helped it die down. Al, what do you say to that?
I mean, I agree with Jeff, but you know, in the meantime, while we're all either about to get it, we currently have it, or have had it and are trying to avoid getting it again, Jeff, I think, and Tori as well, I think we're looking at our lives all wrong. I think we keep trying to force pre-COVID life into post-COVID world. And I think we need to start understanding that that's not happening. I told my girl last night, I was like, I think we need to do this differently. Like, look at these soft lockdowns, almost like being in a self-imposed kind of home lockdown where you do your taxes, do the boring stuff, work out, all that kind of stuff. And then when it lifts, you go for a couple weeks. If you got 4 months of non-COVID variant, travel to places you've always wanted to go. Do stuff on a Tuesday night normally when you would just watch TV. Kind of live life in these kind of 4-month chunks rather than do it the other way, because I just don't see it happening. Because when you're trying to schedule stuff like the Super Bowl, you can't schedule 8 months out because you don't know.
Yeah, it's called adaptation, and maybe we do have to start living like quarterly, like you said. That's interesting.
Almost like your taxes.
Ooh, okay, excuse me. That was an attractive look.
That was.
Anyone wanted to take a pause button on that. All right, there's a new Joe Million.
I'm so excited I can't see you guys for that.
Oh, dude, you would have. I was like, why isn't he making fun of me?
I was about to say, you should have been making fun of Tori's shirt.
I can't see you guys. That's the frustrating part about being at home. I can't see even Tori's face. I kind of miss it.
That's a lie. All right, there's a new Joe Millionaire in town, but this rebooted reality dating show has a little twist. I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say. So if you remember the original, it was back in 2003. Women competed for the heart of a millionaire bachelor who in the end revealed he wasn't loaded at all. That was so annoying. So there's a new show called Joe Millionaire for Richer or Poorer, debuts tonight. 20 men date 2 men.
20 women.
20 women.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Very different. 20 women date 2 men who one is rich and one who isn't. Watch this.
This time, 2 Joes are better than one. One of them just has a lot more money. The ladies do not know who is rich and who is not.
There's no way I come out of this not being a bad guy, and I don't know how to handle it.
There will be drama.
Don't embarrass me.
Romance and lots of surprises.
There is somebody not here for the right reasons.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Okay, Jeffrey, king of reality, talk to me about this show. What do you think?
I remember the old Joe Millionaire, the first one. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think you guys just played a clip of that. That was amazing because the audience wasn't even in on it, right?
Right.
Or were we? I think
No, we were not.
Either way, it was
We were
amazing.
not.
Them trying to redo it, I don't know about. I don't think anyone on television, when I went on, seriously, it was 12 years ago. I went on there for an adventure to have fun. And now I really think people are there to try to further their careers, which I can't fault them, right? Look, you know, do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think they care if the guy's rich or not rich. They just want to get their fame out there. They want to get followers on Instagram. And I think that's the only reason that they're there in the first place. So rich or poor, it's all about the followers.
That's interesting. It's not even about the money at the end. It's about the clout chasing. Excuse me. Al, would you be able to tell the rich guy from the poor one? Immediately, I'm like, the guy in the man bun is the rich one.
You know what? That's what I think. But then I'm like, oh, I saw them both on horses. So I was like, is anybody going to win this? I don't know if I want to date anybody that shows up in my life on a white horse. I think that's super embarrassing. And I do think, Jeff, and tell me if I'm taking this too far, man, I think this is like misogynistic a little bit, like showing like, oh, all women are just gold diggers going. It's like after lawyers and doctors, the third most millionaires in the world are teachers because they have a 401k. So a lot of teachers, firefighters retire with a lot of money. So like being a millionaire isn't that big. So it needs to be like, is it Joe Millionaire and broke guy or Joe Millionaire and like he's all right too.
He's doing okay.
So I don't know. I wonder like how bad the non-millionaire is.
And could this work, Jeff? I do have to ask you both. Would this work as 2 women and 20 men going after them?
Absolutely.
I think that would be interesting, don't you? Jeff, what do you think about that?
Women power.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that, buddy. All right, we're moving on to this one. If you're obsessed with celebrities, chances are you might not be that intelligent. Jeff's like, duh. That's the findings from a study out of Hungary. The study of about 1,700 people found that those who were more interested in celebrities had lower scores on 2 cognitive ability tests. But the study did not determine whether the poor performance was because they spend their brain power thinking about celebs or if they were just less intelligent to begin with. Jeff, does this lead you into that kind of conversation about sort of people who are obsessed with a fake culture? Do you know what I'm saying a bit?
Did you just say Jeff is like duh? Did I just hear that?
Yeah, meaning like, of course the people who are obsessed with celebrities aren't going to be as
I don't know about that. I don't know if I
intelligent.
agree with that. Jeff, what do you think, man? And then I have some thoughts.
I think Tori's way more obsessed than celebrities than I am, so it's more like Tori, duh.
Right, I know. That's you saying duh to me. Jeff's like, duh. Of course they're dumber.
I don't think
you know
it's
what's going on here,
thing.
Tori? Let me tell you what's going on. This is like text messaging. I can't see you guys, so I don't see your facial expressions. I'm like, I feel like that was a dig, but I can't see your face to know that you were just joking. I'm very uncomfortable in my little world over here.
I'm very sorry. I meant it like, of course, you also agree that people who are obsessed with celebrities aren't that smart. You, I think, have that opinion.
Yes.
I don't
Good
know
talk.
about that. I don't know if people that are, I don't know if you're obsessed with celebrity or their lifestyle. And I think for years people have been obsessed with decadence and privilege. It's a reason that The Crown is a popular show.
The Gatsby.
There's something about royalty and like, look at Succession right now. Like, oh, you take a helicopter to work, I'll take a car.
Right.
You know, so I think the idea of somebody being a celebrity, I think it's fascinating to people because it's so different from the life that they live. I don't know if that makes them stupid. I think maybe you just like nice architecture. Maybe you just like beautiful homes and you like to see them.
But it doesn't mean you don't have as much brain power to like read a newspaper or look online about like what's going on in the world.
But I don't know why they're mutually exclusive. I
yeah.
think you can do both.
I do like Kim Kardashian and the Constitution.
Oh, wow. Okay. Legally Blonde 3. This time I'm going bowling.
Coming up on DBL, from futuristic cars, strike. Oh boy, headphones and robots. We've got a preview of some of the coolest gadgets from the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. You still want to be around for that. Great job, Tori. But first, Chris Noth gets cut from the Sex and the City reboot. Did they make the right choice? We're going to chat about it coming up next. Stay tuned. Closed captioning provided by
Hi.
Okay, so right now, if you turn and show them, Lydia, it's Wolf. Well, great. Is It's Wolfgang Puck. He's on this commercial.
Yes, if you want to show us
It's
your
a
screen.
Sorry.
On our screen.
It's Wolfgang Puck. And I once was at Reel's channel a long, long time ago, 2007. And they had a governor's ball where you get to go before the Oscars to meet the chefs and see what it will look like and meet the florists and everything. And I went for Reel's channel, but I didn't have breakfast and they do serve alcohol. And so I was a hair over served. And I was very brazen. And the poor florist was like, I'm hanging these flowers just with string. And I'm like, I said something like, will Tom Hanks get drunk and fall? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, Mickey Rourke? And he's like, possibly. But anyway, I went up to Wolfgang Puck and I just started speaking French because when I'm a little bit overserved, I like to speak different languages.
We all feel the same way.
Exactly. So I essentially asked him something very sort of inappropriate in a funny way. And he responded being such a good sport in a very inappropriate way, but in French. And I couldn't, that was at the limit of so I just went, ha, 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 ha. And then we had a conversation. But it's on my reel, and it's a really good piece of tape.
Well, you had a fun moment.
And then and then Wolfgang Puck came to DC and actually toured the National Gallery of Art. And my mom was his tour guide. And she said, do you remember this, like, drunk reporter? And they said, yes. He said, we. He did remember.
Wow.
But he is a lovely
and that's
wife.
He has to re-up the restraining order every year.
It's every 6 months. And I keep knocking in the door. 5 months and 30 days.
Every 6 months, it's another 10
Wolfie!
feet.
Woo! But I think he's awesome, and I love his restaurant Spago, and his wife, who we met when she came to the Gallery of Art. She just had a baby. Wolfgang Puck is a very cool dude.
That was a long way to go.
That it was their fault, not yours.
Yeah, it does.
Welcome back. And just like that, Mr. Big has been cut out of the finale of the Sex and the City reboot. Didn't I do that well?
Well, you just snapped,
okay.
But yes.
Chris Noth was meant to reappear in a fantasy sequence in the finale. As we mentioned, he was killed off in the first episode of the new show. Spoiler alert. But his scenes have now been cut after he was accused of sexual assault by multiple women. Should Mr. Big be laid out to rest for good, Jeffrey?
I don't know. You tell me, Tori. You're the sorry, my son's over here. You tell me. You're the Sex and the City guy, girl. But yes, you tell me. I don't know. Are these accusations true? Did they prove them? Is he guilty in the court of law or just the court of Hollywood? I don't know.
For me, the allegations are so strong, and there's more than two that are alleging a certain type of rape. And when you get to that level, there's law enforcement that I want to be involved, just like Jeff said. I always want to believe the victims and the survivors, So I know that the three women, Al, spoke out. Sarah Jessica Parker, Cynthia Nixon, and Charlotte, who is, if someone could remind me of her name, but anyway, they spoke out and said, we believe the survivors and we stand with them. What do you think about them probably making the decision themselves? I don't want him in there.
Well, it's interesting.
Kristen Davis, thank you.
They quickly said that we believe the survivors, which is great. But then if they believe them, then they must have a body of evidence of working with him for decades that leads them to believe these accusations. I've been with you and Jeff every day for 5 years.
Right.
If somebody accuses you, I'd be like, no.
Exactly.
But the fact that they didn't have that reaction, Jeff, makes me think that there was some smoke here. But if there was some smoke, Jeff, does that make them complicit because they were riding with it until it was called out? So it's either one of the two.
Listen, Al, that was exactly in my head. I can't see you, man, but we're sharing the same brain as always.
We don't need to see each other. We're locked in.
We're like this, buddy. We're like this.
Where am I?
But that was exactly what I was thinking. If they didn't let what was her name? What was the girl's name? I'm sorry, that didn't get let back in. Miranda, right?
Samantha Jones. Yes, Samantha Jones is played by Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall, that's right. I'm sorry, I knew that name too. Mannequin. So Kim Cattrall, they didn't let her back in because of things that happened off camera, right?
Right.
If they worked with this guy for 10 years, they didn't know something like this, if it was true, and it's only these victims, wouldn't you think that there's maybe more? Why would they let him back on set again? I'm not putting the blame or they should be the judge and the jury, the actresses at all. I'm just saying, if they knocked one actor or actress off the show and they had a hint this was going on, why didn't they killed him off? So maybe they did. I don't know.
No, it's a really fair point, and I know that some of the women claim he drank at work, and I'm wondering if they also were aware of that, or if he was claimed to allegedly be drunk on the red carpet and all of that. I wonder if they also saw that and let it slide. Interesting. Coming up on DBL, a look into the crazy new gadgets at the CES show in Vegas. This is one of my favorite segments every year. You won't believe some of these. Coming up next. Ew. Oh, no, no, no.
TikTok video with more than 3 million views claims you can get a check for up to 4 times the amount of your flight if you're denied boarding by the airline.
We'll try to get you on the next flight in a few hours, but there's nothing else I can do, sorry. Actually, I've read the terms. This is called involuntary denied boarding, and in this case, I'm eligible for compensation.
Some people wonder if it's too good to be true. So, let's verify. Can you receive compensation from an airline if you are involuntarily denied boarding? Our sources are the Department of Transportation and the contracts of carriage for the nation's largest airlines. The TikTok explains airlines sell more tickets than there are seats on a plane and hope passengers don't show up. While that does happen, airlines can also involuntarily deny boarding to passengers if an air marshal requires a seat or if there's a problem with the plane and they swap it out with a smaller aircraft. Regardless of the reason, the DOT says this is all completely legal so long as the airlines follow the law of what to do if they run out of seats, which is what the TikTok focuses on. Airlines' websites say they will first ask for volunteers to give up their seats in exchange for a voucher or other compensation. If there are no takers, then the airline can involuntarily deny boarding to passengers and must pay you a penalty of up to 4 times the fare paid, depending on how long it takes them to find you a new flight. So it's true. You can receive compensation from an airline if you are involuntarily denied boarding. However, this is extremely rare. DOT data shows of the nearly 445 million passengers that took to the skies on major U.S. airlines between January and September of last year, there were only about 6,500 people who were involuntarily denied boarding. Remember, this does not apply to things like weather delays, cancellations, or missing your flight. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL and the Bowling Show in 1977. All right. This is my favorite segment all year. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, a.k.a. one of the biggest tech trade shows in the world, is happening right now, this week in Vegas. So here's a look at some of the buzziest gadgets out there. First up, we've got a dehumidifying earbuds.
What? Dehumidifying?
Gross. These Bluetooth-enabled earbuds are from LinkFace. They're able to track humidity inside the ear, which the creators say cause bacterial overgrowth, as well as releases light and heat to alleviate sticky and moist ear canals. What do you guys think? Would you buy these?
No, just because I've never thought that was a problem. So
I've had a problem with that.
Really?
I have a problem with small ear canals.
Okay.
Jeffrey, would you do that?
I have to be totally honest. I was not listening at all. I thought you were reading an ad, and I was trying to figure out this whole thing of seeing you guys.
Push
and I was
the
like, wait,
VFB
what?
button.
We're doing a segment. No, mine doesn't work. I don't want to bring the audience into what's going on, but I can't see, and I was trying to text with people at work.
I feel you.
I wasn't listening. That's the bottom line. I heard ear canal, and that's it.
Just canal,
Jeff, I'll tell you that you wouldn't buy it.
You wouldn't buy it. All right, next up, the Cadillac Inner Space. It debuted as an autonomous car concept that seats just 2 passengers. Cadillac designed it with a cocoon-like cabin that immerses passengers sitting in a love seat with a panoramic screen that stretches across the front. So do we need this car? This is estimated to be in the 6-figure range.
Absolutely, you need that car.
I think so too.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I feel like those people in the ad would hate me. They look too futuristic and cool.
They were very futuristic.
But yeah, if I got to hold that car, you guys would never see me again. I'd just be driving around.
Jeff, you?
It sounds like a fantastic car.
Way to go. Way to roll with it. This next one is odd. It's a robotic nibbler, okay? It's called Amagami Ham Ham. Am I saying that correctly? Amagami Ham Ham. It's a robot.
Now, please don't say that again.
Amagami Ham Ham. It's a robot designed to bite the end of your finger in a cute, reassuring way. The biting motion is apparently designed to recreate the sensation of having the tip of your finger nibbled by a pet or a baby.
I'll say this. I do know for a fact that people on the spectrum, especially people that suffer from anxiety, when you see people on the spectrum, they do what's called flapping with their hands, and it's because it releases a lot of the tension from the fingertips. So that's where you see. So I could see this being beneficial to somebody maybe on the spectrum or somebody that just suffers from anxiety. I know it seems weird, but I mean, I'm assuming like the squeeze ball was weird. Right, it was weird until people used it.
I appreciate that. All right, this one's for Jeff. It's cool. If you can't decide on the color car you want, BMW has you covered with their all-electric iX Flow, which changes color from black to white at the push of a button. Would you buy this, Jeff?
You know what's cool? I feel like I'm listening in on a hotel wall, and I'm like, these people next to me are crazy. That's what I feel like. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. You sound crazy.
Well, it was a BMW that changes colors.
It changes colors,
but I was like, wouldn't this?
I got that part. I got the visual. It sounds amazing. Sounds amazing.
But I mean, I would get that if I was planning to like rob banks or something. If you're gonna do something not on the up and up, you take off and hey, we saw him in a red car. Oh, did you?
Did you?
Push the blue button.
Did
now
ya?
I'm cruising.
Amazing. I'm glad that Jeff got to experience that all audibly. All right, we'll be right back.
That was really great.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
More than 600 people arrested for storming the U.S. Capitol January 6th. And whether they were Oath Keepers or Proud Boys, a rapper from Richmond or a Marine from Quantico, virtually all of them share one criminal charge in common: entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds. Reaction swift on some social media accounts, with tweets like this one claiming the Capitol building is public property, therefore people have the right to be inside. So let's verify, does the public have the right to be in the U.S. Capitol or government-owned public property whenever they want? Our sources on this: Jane Campbell, president of the United States Historical Society, the National Park Service, and the General Services Administration, or GSA, which owns or leases more than 1,800 federally controlled buildings in Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. Let's start with the Capitol building itself.
There was a time when anybody could come walk into the building.
But Campbell says that time was more than 70 years ago. She says laws have been on the books since 1946, controlling public access to the Capitol, with Congress tightening restrictions in the 1970s after a radical left-wing militant group set off a bomb in the Capitol, and again in the late 90s when an armed assailant stormed past a U.S. Capitol security checkpoint and killed 2 Capitol police officers. The only public access to the Capitol these days is through the Visitor Center, and even that has been shut off due to COVID. What's more, U.S. Capitol Police told us when it comes to the Capitol riots, none of that matters anyway, telling us in a statement, quote, "When it comes to the violations on January 6th, it is not relevant whether or not the U.S. Capitol is a public building. It was not open to the general public that day, first because of the COVID-19 pandemic, second because of the joint session of Congress. The rioters violated the law the moment they crossed the police line."
You know, just as our freedom of speech doesn't allow us to, in a crowded theater, scream fire, we also can't come into the Capitol, storm the Capitol, disrupt the work of Congress, vandalize our most sacred space.
Which made us wonder, what about other public spaces owned by the government? The GSA told us in general, federal buildings are open to visitors from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a valid ID and a security screening. But that's not a blanket rule. You can't just walk around FBI headquarters on Pennsylvania Avenue. It's totally locked down except for a small self-guided tour that's open to the public, but even that has to be set up by your congressman. You can't go into the Washington Monument whenever you want, although you can visit the other monuments 24/7, but people who do are subject to this long list of rules and regulations while they're there.
So we can verify, no, the public does not have the right to be in the Capitol, on the Capitol grounds, or on federally owned public property whenever they want. With your Verify, I'm Eric Flack.
Welcome back. Do you need a vacation from your vacation? Just kidding. Luckily, Steph showed me some awesome products that can help ring in the new year. Some of these are great. Check it out. All right, what do you have for us today, Stephanie? I can't wait.
Hey, Tori. First up, we've got the Home Lab 11.6 quart XXL 8-in-1 air fryer oven.
Wow.
This will come fully equipped for you with a rotating basket, dehydrating racks, adjustable skewer racks, an oil tray, a rotisserie fetch tool, and a rotisserie chef.
Oh my Lord.
It's everything you could need.
Does it come with a chef? I mean, that's incredible.
Pretty much. It's amazing, right?
Right.
So normally this is as much as $175, but for us, it's only $89, which saves our viewers 49%. Now, Tori, this deal, it's a fan favorite.
Ooh.
We've got Life Pro Grace Shiatsu neck massager, and it heats up. It's got heat.
Yes.
Normally, it's $115. We've got it for only $35, saving up to 70%. Now, I know you're going to love this one. It is the Premier Luxury Skincare Quartz Gem Brightening Under Eye Treatment.
Oh, yes.
Now, normally, this is as much as $250, but we've got it for only $39, which saves all of you at home 84%. And last but certainly not least, we've got Posh Home Double Ruffle Hem Sheet Set. They're wrinkle resistant, they're breathable. I mean, it's everything you could want.
I need new sheets.
Oh, they're lovely. They feel heavenly to touch. And normally this set is as much as $60, but guess what, Tori?
What?
We've got them at $29, saving up to 52%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com right on your smartphone. Steph, as always, thank you so much. We want to thank Jeff for joining us. He was always such a good commentary of
and
saying
listening to us.
He couldn't really see us. That's right. We'll see him tomorrow. And we do want to say that if you do crash into that car that changes color, what do you report it as?
Because if you're in the wrong, why don't you just change your car color?
Right.
Be like, yeah, that's a black car in that accident, not this one.
Right. And I wonder if it crashes into you, what color lands on your car.
But I'm also saying if you have that car, you probably have insurance. So let them handle that.
But I think this is going to become like a camo situation.
Ooh, like it.
DBL's New Every Day. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you so much for joining us. We genuinely feel grateful for our audience. Bye, guys.